Imagine being one of the most powerful and feared dictators on the planet. You have absolute control, endless wealth, and massive sprawling palaces coated in gold. But in the blink of an eye, your empire crumbles, and suddenly you are the most wanted man on Earth, with a $25 million bounty on your head, hiding in a hole in the dirt like a rat. On December 13th, 2003, American forces finally captured Saddam Hussein, ending a grueling 9-month manhunt that frustrated the greatest military machine in history. But the story of how they found him? It isn't about satellites, massive bombing campaigns, or high-tech spy gadgets. It's a wild story of a ticking clock, a rookie interrogator, a mysterious bodyguard known only as the Fatman, and a fake floorboard hidden under a rug. This is the insane true story of Operation Red Dawn. April 2003, coalition forces roll into Baghdad. The Iraqi regime has collapsed. But there is one glaring problem. Saddam Hussein has completely vanished. The U.S. military designates him high-value target number 1. They print out thousands of decks of playing cards featuring wanted regime officials, with Saddam as the ace of spades. The military strategy at first makes sense. Capture his top generals and political advisors, interrogate them, and they'll give up the boss. And it worked, to a point. They caught the top guys. But here was the catch. The top guys had absolutely no idea where Saddam was. Because when the regime fell, Saddam knew that the big-name politicians would be the first ones hunted. So he completely cut ties with them. He ditched the cell phones. He ditched the massive entourages. He went completely underground, traveling in random taxis and moving every few hours. The U.S. formed an elite commando unit, Task Force 121, just to hunt him down. They carried out raid after raid, 12 massive targeted operations, all empty. For months, the U.S. was chasing a ghost. To find him, the U.S. didn't need more firepower. They needed a totally different strategy. Enter Staff Sergeant Eric Maddox. Eric Maddox was an interrogator who arrived in Iraq in July 2003. He had literally never interrogated a prisoner of war before, but he realized the top-down strategy was flawed. If the generals didn't know where Saddam was, who did? The answer: family, tribal loyalties, and low-level grunts. Maddox and the intelligence team started focusing on the nobodies, the drivers, the bodyguards, the guys who actually handled the logistics of moving a human being from point A to point B. Over 4 months, Maddox interrogated over 300 people. He built a massive web of connections, and eventually one name kept popping up, a man named Mohammed Ibrahim Omar al-Muslit. Ibrahim was Saddam's former driver and closest confidant. Task Force 121 called him the Source, or simply the Fat Man. He was the key. He was running the insurgency logistics for Saddam. If they found Ibrahim, they found the ace of spades. Fast forward to December 12th, 2003. It's Maddox's very last day in Iraq. His tour is up. He is literally about to get on a plane to go home. In a desperate final raid on an insurgent house in Baghdad, U.S. forces capture 3 men. They bring them back with bags over their heads. Maddox interrogates one of them and asks, "Where is Mohammed Ibrahim?" The prisoner says, "He was at the house you just raided." Maddox is crushed. They missed him. But then the translator stops him and says, "No, he means he was at the house. He is one of the 3 guys." Maddox runs into the holding cell. He pulls the hoods off the prisoners, and right there, staring back at him, is Mohammed Ibrahim, the Fat Man. Maddox has just hours before his flight leaves. He sits down with Ibrahim. He tells him, "We have 40 of your family members in custody. Give him up." After 2 intense hours, Ibrahim finally breaks. He says, "I will take you to him." Operation Red Dawn is a go. It's the evening of December 13th. A massive force of 600 soldiers from the 4th Infantry Division and elite special operations operators descend on a rural farm compound in Ad-Dawr, just south of Tikrit. The military had actionable intelligence on 2 specific locations on the farm, codenamed Wolverine 1 and Wolverine 2. The troops swarm the area, they clear the buildings, they search the sheep pens, they check everywhere, and nothing. No Saddam. It looks like another dry hole. The operators are literally finishing up, calling in the helicopters to extract them. But then, near a small rundown mud hut, a soldier notices something weird on the ground. He kicks aside a piece of flooring. Underneath the dirt is a rug. Underneath the rug is a styrofoam lid with two small air vents. It's a hidden spider hole, just big enough for one person to lie down in. The soldier, worried it might be a booby-trapped insurgent tunnel, readies a fragmentation grenade. He is about to pull the pin and drop it into the darkness. Suddenly, a voice calls out from the dark. Two hands appear. An incredibly disheveled, bearded man slowly rises out of the dirt. It's him, the butcher of Baghdad. The soldier strikes him with the stock of his rifle and disarms him. Saddam Hussein, the man who plunged his country into decades of war, offers zero resistance. The troops secure the area. Inside the hole in the tiny hut nearby, they find exactly what the dictator had reduced his life to: a Glock 18, C-pistol, two AK-47s, and a briefcase stuffed with $750,000 in crisp $100 bills. The irony was unbelievable. General Ray Odierno later noted that from the farm where Saddam was hiding like a rat, you could literally look across the Tigris River and see the massive, opulent palaces he had built by stealing from the Iraqi people. The very next day, a press conference was held in Baghdad. It gave us one of the most famous sound bites of the entire 21st century. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Saddam Hussein was eventually handed over to the Iraqi interim government, put on trial for crimes against humanity, and executed in 2006. The capture of Saddam Hussein wasn't the end of the Iraq War. In fact, years of brutal insurgency were just beginning. But the story of Operation Red Dawn remains a masterclass in intelligence. It proves that sometimes all the bombs and satellites in the world can't compete with one interrogator willing to sit down, ask the right questions, and find the right thread to pull. What do you guys think? If you had $25 million on your head, where would you hide? Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this deep dive into military history, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss an episode. Until next time, I'll see you in the next video.